Hello friends, welcome to my channel Learn and Study. Today in this video you will see the philosophy topic of approaches to inculcate values. Values are those characteristics of human society which set norms, exert control and influence the thinking, willing, feeling and actions of individuals. The Constitution of India lays the firm foundation of sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. It secures for all citizens social, economic, and political justice, liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship, equality of status of opportunity, fraternity, assuming the dignity of individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. All these provisions, along with the supremacy of the judiciary, are the cornerstones of peace and harmony. The value inculcation approach. It is an approach that lays emphasis on the inculcation of social values in students. It is a traditional approach. This approach is geared towards insulting and internalizing norms into person's own value system. It helps in modeling the character of the students to become a good citizen while they are being imparted knowledge for their intellectual advancement. The process of acquiring values begins at birth. It develops through life and evolves from life experience. They are formed by combining intellect, will, emotions, and spiritual needs. Simply stated, values are belief on certain ways of behaving on certain life goals. A value is a guide, a norm, a principle by which a person lives. Values have seven criteria. They are: a value must be chosen freely, a value must be chosen from alternatives, a value must be chosen after considering the consequences, a value must be performed, a value becomes a pattern of life, a value is cherished, a value is publicly affirmed. Value inculcation is building of values in a inner core. There is a process that happens unconsciously since we start learning, but it is conscious as we start learning about values in the school. This happens when a school gives us the normal education. Schools are of three chief methods in moral education. These methods are inculcation, value clarification, and value analysis. Inculcation is an effort to teach children the values that education believe lead to a moral behavior. These values include honesty, compassion, justice, and respect for others. One way of teaching such standards is to provide appropriate prize and punishment. Another means it is have to teacher reflect the design values is their own behavior. Value inculcation can be achieved directly, indirectly, and incidentally. Direct value inculcation refers to the deliberate, systematic instruction given during the time of formation of school timetable. Indirectly, value inculcation can be imparted through the regular subjects, the curriculum, and co curriculum activities. Incidental value inculcation can be given through events and incidents related to good value occurring around us, thus, relating value inculcation to concrete situations. There are two important approaches in any inculcation of values. One approach is to transmit pre existing set of values to others. This can take up various forms such as the model form, model influence thought and actions. The reward and punishment form offering reward and punishments depending on a good and desirable behavior or bad and undesirable behaviors. The explanatory form identifying certain values and providing explanation from them. The nagging from repeatedly reminding what is right and what is wrong and value what is expected. The manipulative form manipulating the environment or experience so as to favor certain values outcomes. The transmitter liberal arts form by reading widely, thinking deeply, and experience boldly, values could be discovered. Science teaching should be comprehensive while inculcating values in the context of science. You should take care to see that we don't use science as a deliberate instrument or vehicle for promoting values. As a teacher could be involved in a value inculcation through science, he or she should be possess the following traits: be able to identify values underlying the context they teach, act as a role model by internalizing values and help students also internalize the same. Be able to analyze the need of children, cultivate interest in science, motivate them, and encourage them in art of self learning by becoming a partner in the process. Having an understanding of an art and science of developing human personality in all its aspects with emphasis on integration, harmony, truth, beauty, and excellence. Acquire familiarity with new techniques of transactions, the changing curriculum, and appreciate the educational implications in the teaching learning strategies. Having a cheerful dispositions. Be willing to establish a close rampart with parents, community, and NGO working on a voluntary basis to promote values. The value clarification approach. Value clarification helps students to develop their own values and moral standards by teaching them a decision making process. The learning procedures stress setting goals, choosing thoughtful from alternative, and acting on one's own conviction. It helps students to use both rational thinking and emotional awareness to extreme personal behavior and classify and actualize values. This approach has been detailed by Ratz 1966 and Simon et al., where the child made it jot down self analysis reaction worksheets consisting of drawing, questions, and activities. It encouraged students to relate their thoughts and their feelings and thus enrich their awareness of their own values. The teacher will carefully prepare value related exercise and discussions questions giving the students clear instructions. It also aims to teach children how to make a moral decisions through exercise and discussion. Students should be made aware of influence to their values and explore, acknowledge what they truly value in their lives. It tries to help young people answer some of these questions and build their own value system. It is not a new approach. There have always been parent, teacher, and other educations who have sought ways to help young people think through values issues from themselves. This approach is based upon the principles of the values relatively, and they should be strive to clarify those values that are personally meaningful. That is, the values that makes us more purposeful, productive, and social aware and better critical thinker. They have done this in many ways. Valuing, according to Rals, is composed of seven sub processes. They are prizing and cherishing, to accustom students to reveal themselves. Exercise generally begin with topics that are begin such as arranging short list of food, sporting, and vacation spot in order of preference. By sharing the personal views in the class, students reveal the private information that classmates naturally will compare with their own lives. Publicly affirming. Students are compelled to state the position either in the class discussions, in written exercise, or personal journals. Unfinished sentences or personal questions are popular value clarification strategies that help the students reveal their own, explore some of his attitudes, beliefs, actions, and convictions, interests, and aspirations, likes, dislikes, goals, and purpose. Example, if I saw someone shoplifting in a store, I would, how will peers respond to answer? How will the day class discussion embrace and trouble student? It is an important to remember that the value clarification encourages students to choose their behavior based in part of their own feelings. The value a child feel about something is more important than their actual realities. And the next, choosing from alternatives. This portion of value processing is frequently introduced as decision maker skills. Knowledge alone is somehow supposed to magically help the students to make the right decisions. When discussions when decisions were to be made based on the knowledge gained in the classroom, the students were less apprehensive about giving the intellectual things like smoking other drugs seems almost inconvenience by comparison. So teachers has to explain the students clearly. Choosing after consideration of consequences. After all the information has been exposed, including the opinions of classmates, students are to reflect the final to choose their own positions. Real life has not succeeded to generate enough fear to keep kids from illicit behavior. Classroom presentation will not do anything better. Choosing freely. Feeling good about choice is essential to the value clarification process. The worst imaginable scenario in classroom value clarification exercise would be for one student to accuse another of moral transition. This is one of the reasons why classroom sex education and self-esteem programs insist on teaching universal respect for people who are different. Teachers can cultivate mutual respect among students while avoiding confrontation in a class by promoting non judgmental and empathic, effective listening skills. Children are not warned that some people can hurt them or lead them to sins. Attitudes, beliefs, and actions, convictions, interests, aspirations, and the next, acting. Students are promoted to demonstrate their beliefs within the conference of school activities. This may be as simple as writing a letter to a mayor, participating a food drive for the poor, or planting tree in a city park. Students may be encouraged to take part of some movements to change society. Obviously, acting can be morally good or bad depending on the value expressed. Acting with the pattern or consistency and repetitions. Students are taught that their behavior and choice should be constantly reflect their values. To accomplish this, the teachers use approaches while help the students become aware of the belief and behavior. Their prize would be willing to stand up for it and out of classrooms. Finally, he tries to give students options in and out class for only when students begin to make their own choice and evaluate the actual consequences. Do they develop their own values? In the next, value analysis. The teacher method used to this approach generally centered around the individual and group study of social values, problems, and issues, library and field research, and rational class discussions. These include static the issues, questioning and sustaining in relevance of statements, applying analog scales to qualify and refine value positions, pointing out logical and empirical inconsistency in argument, weighting counter argument, and seeking and testing evidence. A representative instrumental model present by Metcalfe 1971 identify and clarify the value questions, assemble purported facts and truth, arrive at a tentative evaluation. It provides training as students to deal with the social issues in rational manner and also deal with a value conflict effectively. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe my channel.